And while we were replacing some of those English words with our Maidus, it started getting into really profound ways, such as, how do we say, how are you? How do we say goodbye? How do we say yes? And how do we say no? How do we say nephew? How do we say friend? So all those things started being developed in our language program. The language is not necessarily an easy one to learn. The vowel sounds consist of the A vowel sounding as ah, the E sounding as A, the I as E, O, on and on and on. The one thing about the vowels that they are consistent. Unlike English, where you can maybe get 2, 3 different sounds for the E vowel, ours are consistent all the way through. We do have two vowels, a Y vowel that if you were to push your mouth out and put your tongue to the top of your roof, put your tongue to the bottom of your teeth, the sound would be "ugh." And that is a typical sound. "Ugh" sound means walking. "Ukoy" means going. And then we have the schwa letter also, which is a vowel. It's an upside down reversed E. And that one is in our words, such as our word for deer, it's suni. And so it's another unusual vowel that is incorporated, one that we had to learn and are learning. And then we have the implosions, our B's. If you were to put the letter B and the letter O, and in English you would say bow. But for us, it would be b, bo, bo. It's coming right out of here. And that's a consistent sound with us. And our word for tree, there's a couple of different thoughts here. We have a T and a Z, and so that tree becomes an. There are some dialects that use a CH like cham. But the fun one is with our K's. So we have lesser K sounds and greater K sounds. So here you have the Koyomkawi. Koyomkawi. And so that's the real fun one, because then you're spitting over everybody. As was the case with our Maidu culture, the language was very unique. Capitalizing on the sounds of the world, the word for owl became huhumi. The word for the blue jay was kas-kas. And the word for water is momi. So in one of our old songs, it talks about those mountains over there. We don't call them the coastal range, we call them the western mountains over there. Momale, momale, tayandi, tayandi, tayandi. Momale, momale, tayandi, tayandi. Momale, momale, tayandi, tayandi. Momale, momale, tayandi, tayandi. Kind of reminds me of some of our small creeks that we have around here. There's so much more to the language and our program, as well as my people's culture, that cannot even be discussed at this time. We're just too short of a time. But I'm sure that if we were given a chance, our tribal ways would be seen for what it is. That's kind of, and that's the other thing. We're not a written dialect. It's all phonetical. And so that's why we use that IPA system, the International Phonetics Alphabet, because now we can write it as it sounds now. This is an example of that of that introduction that I made. At the 1853 Bidwell Treaty, these were some of the headmen that were present at that point. And let me see here. Oh, and here's the IPA chart. If you go online to the International Phonetics Alphabet website, you'll get some of this right in here. And then, do we have future linguists in the room today? Anybody that's studying languages? Obviously, there's some that are bilingual or trilingual in this room today, you know, but, and this will work with anything, with Russian, with Swahili, with Maidu. It works with anything. But you go to the International Phonetics Alphabet over there, okay? One thing I wanted to show you, let me see if I can do that here now. I may need some help here. Okay. How do we get into internet? I want to go to mydo.org. Okay, language files here. This is, in my tribe, we also have a nonprofit, and the nonprofit actually is in charge of our language program. And so if you go into mydo.org, you'll see this site come up here, and if you click into language files, here is some the Mary Jones lessons right in here. And then we also have traditional stories, but they're all in dialect. And so, again, another challenge, if any of you wanted to try to translate these, and if you know a little bit about the language, you can go for that. But you can see, you know, some of those stories by Leland Scott. He was another one that came from Grandfather's Village area there. Coyote and the Fisher Birds, Coyote and the Two Turtle Girls. You know, Coyote was, his reference is used a lot because, you know, he's the trickster, he's the womanizer, the liar, the cheater. And those were how we would train the kids, the do's and don'ts, you know, of life, you know, utilizing the Coyote Man. But here in our lessons, let's see, yes? Okay. Okay, here we go.
We watched all
Studies conducted on the native languages of California during the late 19th and early 20th centuries indicate there were tremendous variations in the languages spoken by native people. In the area that is now called Butte County, there are at least 9 variations of the Koyomkawi or Koyomkawi language. Some are named after major villages, while others have been named after the geographic area or town where the speaking community lived at the time. They are Otaki, Nikchokto, Nemshu, Esini.
This is Chico, the Chipta.
Feather Falls,